So, what is Google's grand plan for AI? Well, it turns out the answer isn't some new, frantic reaction to the current hype. It's a plan that started taking shape over a decade ago. We're going to break down how that long term vision, straight from CEO Sundar Pichai, is now shaping everything from their custom chips to the very future of creativity itself. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at their AI long game, how this whole thing started. Then, we'll dive into what they call the full stack multiplier, which is really their secret sauce. After that, we'll see how all this tech is democratizing creation for everyone. And finally, we'll look beyond today's AI to the wild, long-term bets Google is making for the next decade. Okay, first up, the most important thing you have to understand is that what Google is doing in AI right now, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. One that started over a decade ago with a really clear vision for where this was all going. I mean, just look at the breadcrumbs here. The key pieces were put in place years ago. You had the famous cat paper, way back in 2012, the genius acquisition of DeepMind, and of course, that world-shaking moment when AlphaGo beat the best Go player on the planet. All of this was the groundwork that led to 2016, when Pichai went all in and bet the entire company on an AI-first, full-stack approach. So they have this foundational strategy, but how does it actually create this kind of unstoppable cycle of innovation? This is where their master plan really comes to life. The core of the whole strategy is what they call the full stack approach. And in simple terms, it just means they control everything. They own and innovate on the entire process, from the custom silicon that runs the calculations all the way up to the app that you're using on your phone. And Pichai has a perfect name for the power this strategy gives them. He calls it a multiplier effect. And honestly, this one idea is the engine that's driving their entire AI ecosystem forward. And this shows you exactly how it works. It's a chain reaction. A breakthrough in their custom chips, their TPUs, makes their data centers way more powerful. That extra power lets them train bigger, better models like Gemini. And a better Gemini that improves every single product they have. You see, each layer multiplies the power of the next. It's a massive competitive advantage when most of your rivals don't own every single piece of that puzzle. And at the heart of it all today is Gemini. It's the end result of this whole full-stack strategy. It's become the unifying through line that connects and enhances basically everything, from Google Cloud to Photos to your Gmail. So we've seen the strategy, which is pretty cool. But let's talk about the impact. What does this actually mean for us? Well, all this technology isn't just an internal advantage for Google. It's putting some pretty unprecedented creative power into everyone's hands. And we're already seeing this happen. Whenever a powerful new model gets released, one of the first things you see is people making these stunningly creative, kind of weird, amazing infographics. It just goes to show how much untapped creativity is out there, just waiting for the right tool to come along and unlock it. This whole phenomenon has led to something Pichai himself has started calling vibe coding. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's this idea that you can create software not by writing thousands of lines of complex code, but just by describing an idea, a feeling, a vibe. And that could fundamentally change who gets to be a creator. The analogy Pichai uses here is just perfect. Think about what blogs and YouTube did. They completely demolished the barriers to entry and made us all potential writers and filmmakers. Well, vibe coding could do the exact same thing for software development, turning literally anyone with a good idea into a potential app developer. So, we've seen the strategy and the current impact. But where does this long game go from here? What are the next big, crazy, long-term bets Google is placing for the future? Well, Pichai is already looking way, way beyond today's AI. And his first big prediction is a timeline. He thinks that in just about 5 years, the tech world's biggest obsession isn't going to be AI anymore. It's going to be quantum computing. And yeah, quantum computing is just one of these insane moonshots they're investing in. I mean, building data centers in space with Project Suncatcher, using AI to revolutionize biology with AlphaFold, this proves that their long-game strategy is always looking a decade or even more into the future. And that brings us to a really powerful thought from Pichai. He uses his self-driving car company Waymo as an analogy. He says, as good as it is today, this is the worst it will ever be. And the same thing is true here. As absolutely amazing as these AI tools feel right now, we are currently experiencing them at their absolute worst. Just think about that for a second. Which leaves us with one final and kind of huge question to chew on. What happens to our world, to our work, to our creativity when building an app becomes as simple as writing an email? The answer to that question? Well, that could truly redefine everything.